am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Silly Jedi! Silly Jedi!
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
Hello, what have we here?
Hello there.
At last! Where have you been?
Nice of you guys to drop by.
Ah, good. New acquisitions.
I don't know. I have a bad feeling about this.
Hey everybody, welcome to Star Wars Car Talk. It's good to be back after a few weeks of hiatus. A lot's happened in the Star Wars fan world, and I'm going to talk about it this week because, hey, we love Star Wars. And if this is your first time, if you stumbled onto this podcast, I'm Maurice, and I run a account called Jedi Toy Masters on Instagram and a YouTube channel called Jedi Toy Masters on YouTube. And this podcast is made available wherever you get your podcasts, but also on YouTube. There's a special playlist at the Jedi Toy Master YouTube channel for this podcast, and it's in video form, so you can actually see me driving in my car, talking Star Wars. That's why it's called Star Wars Car Talk. And so if you're watching, please make sure you hit that little like button, the little thumbs up button. And if you're not subscribed, I hope you will subscribe, because we have a lot of videos on this channel. We do some toy unboxings. We recently went to a toy show with my boys. Me and my boys are the Jedi Toy Masters. I got 3 little Jedi, and we are a Star Wars family. So there's a video coming out soon where we did our first trunk or treat, and we'll share with you some of our little adventure of doing a trunk or treat, a Star Wars themed trunk or treat, spoiler alert. And we have some toy unboxings and toy reviews, and of course this podcast. So again, you can hit me up on Instagram as well. You can comment below, let me know how did you become a Star Wars fan? And how did you stumble onto this video or this channel if you're watching? And if you're listening in podcast form, thank you so much for listening. And I hope you leave us if you could take the time to leave us a positive review on the Apple podcast thing, because apparently that's the best way to get the word out on your podcast with the algorithms of all that stuff. But anyway, enough of that housekeeping. Let's talk some Star Wars. It's been a while. And in the time since our last episode, wow, a lot of interesting little tidbits of news have come out. The main thing right now I know is it's been trending all over the internet. It's that Hayden Christensen, who already is set to play Anakin or reprise his role as Anakin / Darth Vader in the Obi Wan series. You know, that's not a secret at this point. If you know Star Wars, you know that you know it to be true, that he will be in there. To what degree, we don't know. I mean, the speculation and the guesses and the theories suggest that maybe he's gonna be, maybe it's gonna be like a memory. You know, maybe we'll have a flashback, or perhaps maybe we will see. Maybe part of the Obi Wan series is also kind of paralleling the difference between what Obi Wan is going through during this time in isolation, looking after Luke, with, you know, where Anakin / Darth Vader is right now. And maybe part of the series will venture into his kind of story. And you know, you got to remember, that's still Anakin underneath that mask. You know, it's taken him years to fully become Darth Vader, and even still, you know, Luke was able to reach out to him once he knew of Luke's existence. It seems like the spirit of Anakin started to fight that shell that is Darth Vader. And I think that might be something that we'll see in the Obi-Wan series. At least I hope so. I hope we get to explore that. I know the big thing is, you know, will we see Darth Vader and Obi-Wan battle in the Obi-Wan series? Will that be the battle, the last time they saw each other before A New Hope, when Vader says, you know, When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. You know, we kind of assume that he's referring to their last battle in episode 3, but that it could also be meant to insinuate that the last time Anakin or Vader saw Obi-Wan, you know, he was but, you know, still learning. He was still becoming the Sith master. Because when he says I am the master, well, the master of what? Not a Jedi master. You're a Sith now. So maybe we'll see them battle or see each other. And maybe in that battle, Vader thinks that he killed him, you know? It might be interesting to put that story angle in there that, you know, the last time they battle will be during the Obi Wan series, and it will be left with Vader thinking that Obi-Wan is dead. And that'll kind of add a little bit more meat to when they meet in A New Hope, and then Obi-Wan basically disappears, and then Vader comes over and steps on the clothes, almost like saying, are you really gone this time? Are you really dead this time? You know, because the last time I met you, I thought I destroyed you. And you know, Admiral Tarkin in A New Hope seems to think that, oh, he's gone. Like, you're the last of that, you know. And then of course Vader replies with, you know, don't underestimate the power of the Force. But that's going to be interesting right there, you know, like that idea that we'll see Vader and that Anakin will be playing Vader. It'll be cool to see maybe Vader being underneath the mask, maybe like when he's in that meditation chamber on Mustafar. Maybe we'll see some of that. We saw a little bit of it in Rogue One, so that's going to be kind of cool. But all that to say is that now there is news that is hinting towards the idea that we will see Hayden Christensen, Obi-Wan, Anakin / Obi-Wan in the Ahsoka series, which is very interesting because the Ahsoka series basically takes place during it's during the Mandalorian show. You know, the Ahsoka series is basically taking place, 5 years after Return of the Jedi? You know, so at this point, you know, Han and Leia, maybe Leia's pregnant, you know, at this point with Ben Solo, you know? I mean, does the numbers add up? I mean, it's like 30 years between episode 6 and episode 7. And, you know, Ben Solo is probably like, you know, he's got to be like 30 or something like that, you know, or late 20s, maybe early 30s when we meet him in episode 7. So yeah, maybe Leia at this point during the Mandalorian series and during the Ahsoka, this timeline, this time period, you know, Leia and Han are focused on, you know, the Republic, the New Republic, and they're focused on starting a family. You know, so Luke now has Grogu, and Ahsoka is out searching for Ezra. So that's going to be interesting, and searching for Admiral Thrawn. You know, she's searching for Thrawn. So how does Hayden Christensen, Anakin / Vader, fit into this? Again, two things: either flashbacks, either maybe during the series we will get like live action flashbacks of the Clone Wars, you know, and we'll see like, you know, Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka and Hayden Christensen Anakin in that time, you know. I think that would be kind of interesting. I mean, if you've seen Hayden Christensen, yes, he's much older now than he was during episode 2 and 3. But the guy's is aging gracefully, and I think he could definitely pull off with some makeup and the hair. You know, he can definitely pull off flashback sequences of the Clone Wars when they were together. Also, it could be maybe or maybe not. Maybe it's Force Ghost Anakin Skywalker. You know, we saw Hayden as Force Ghost Anakin in the kind of redux of Return of the Jedi, that George Lucas basically took out old man Anakin and replaced him with young Hayden Christensen Anakin. and that can carry over to the Ahsoka series. I think that would be kind of cool too, but I do have a problem with that. And here's, as I take a sip of water, here's the dilemma. Here's the dilemma with that. We never get to see Anakin Skywalker, Force Ghost Anakin, in the sequel trilogy. We hear Hayden Christensen's voice, we hear Anakin during the final moments of episode 9 when Rey is reaching out to the Jedi and all the Jedi are reaching back out to her and kind of giving her that little pep talk like a bunch of cheerleaders. You know, you hear Anakin say, you know, bring balance to the Force as I did, Rey, which, I'm sorry, I think that was a huge load of crap. And I'm sorry, I may be in the minority, or I may be, you know, being a little too harsh, but I have a real problem with the sequel trilogy. If those of you that are new to this podcast, and I'm not afraid to say it, I do enjoy them as just, you know, entertaining Star Wars movies, but to me they fall more in the line of like fan films than they do actual Star Wars films, and it's just really hard for me to truly accept them as true canon, even though I guess they are, but it's just really hard for me. And I can go on that, but the problem with bringing Anakin, Force Ghost Anakin, in the Ahsoka series, as great as that would be, it's that we don't see Force Ghost Anakin in the sequel trilogy. And we could have. They could have brought in Hayden Christensen to be a Force Ghost that maybe tries to talk some sense into Kylo Ren, into his grandson. That, you know, even in the, that could have been the, like, honestly, instead of bringing back Han Solo, like a memory of Han Solo, which we've never seen anything like that in Star Wars, it could have been Force Ghost Anakin that basically talks to him, that maybe in between the time of The Last Jedi, Episode 8, and Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9, maybe during that time, as Kylo Ren has seeped deeper into madness, into the dark side, into his own version of being a dark side user, where, you know, he says, forget the Jedi, forget the Sith, kill the past if you have to, whatever. I mean, honestly, the most interesting part of the sequel trilogy is Kylo Ren, Ben Solo. But, and so it's such a missed opportunity there. That could have been the thing that is the final nail in the coffin. You know, Leia giving her last bit of life force into, like, breathing life into bringing Ben Solo back from Kylo Ren, and then Force Ghost Anakin basically saying, you know, you've been worshiping Darth Vader. Darth Vader is gone. You know, Darth Vader was a mistake. Don't follow the same. Instead of Anakin talking to Rey saying, bring back the balance as I did, it should have been Anakin talking to Ben Solo saying, don't go down this dark path as I did. So, yeah, as much as I would love to see Force Ghost Anakin and Ahsoka, if anything, it just makes the sequel trilogy that much dumber. But the silver lining here is that if they do bring back Hayden as Force Ghost Anakin in the Ahsoka series, it only validates the idea that within this Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni Star Wars canon that we're slowly seeing, I think they are kind of trying to fix, I think, the sequel trilogy and or replace the sequel trilogy. So that way, you know, the sequel trilogy can kind of stand on its own as the story of Rey and Palpatine, and how the bloodline of Skywalker still reigned supreme over Palpatine's little attempt to come back. Because that's really what the sequel trilogy ended up being. An ill-planned, ill-fated attempt at Palpatine trying to weasel his way back into the story. You know, we cheered for Rey when unknowingly we were cheering for the offspring of Palpatine to come back, basically. And, you know, you can look at it as, well, and in the end, the goodness of Luke and Leia, the goodness of Skywalker, of that name, of that lineage, reigned supreme. At the cost, unfortunately, at the cost of, you know, Luke's life and Han Solo's life and Leia's life. The three of them basically sacrificed themselves to make sure that Palpatine never came back and that we didn't end up with another Darth Vader, aka Kylo Ren. So you know, you can kind of look at those three movies as kind of that story. But I think the deeper rooted Skywalker saga those roots still run through this entire story that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have developed through The Mandalorian, and that I think we're going to see more of in the Ahsoka series and even in the Obi Wan series. I think the Obi Wan series is going to kind of connect the prequels to the original trilogy more. And I think the Ahsoka series is going to connect the original trilogy, the prequels, connect it more to where we are now in Star Wars, and maybe even the sequel trilogy, but I think it's kind of almost like replacing the sequel trilogy as the next story of stories in Star Wars. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of what it seems like. And they're doing it in a very subtle way, which I find interesting. But at the end of the day, it's exciting. It's exciting to know that we're gonna get Hayden Christensen as Anakin. We're gonna get Obi-Wan Kenobi coming back, and we're gonna get more of a live action Ahsoka, which I think is really cool. Like, I think it's really cool. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is the time where it's basically the sun is about to set. This is like I forgot what it's called, but you know, in the industry they call this like the golden hour. Yes, the golden hour is smacking me right in the face. It's kind of weird because it's like raining, drizzling, and the skies are clearing up, and the golden hour is smacking me in the face. But all that to say is that I'm excited. It's exciting. It's exciting to be a Star Wars fan, nonetheless. Regardless of the state of Star Wars. I mean, we had a couple of drops on the Disney Plus service. We had, you know, the Star Wars Visions, which, to my shame, I haven't finished watching all of them. Oh my gosh, that is a lot of fun. I think I watched, oh boy, I can't see. Sorry about that, folks. I watched the first few episodes of Visions, and I've been kind of waiting to have more time to be able to sit down and watch it with my boys, because, you know, I don't want to just watch them by myself and then have to rewatch them with them. Like, I want to watch them all together, watch them together with them. So we haven't really gotten around to watching all of them, but an amazing series that did come out, a little mini series, is called the Galaxy of Sound, which David W. Collins, who is, if you don't know who David W. Collins is and you're a Star Wars fan, man, go Google him, go check him out. He has an amazing podcast called The Soundtrack Show. He was recently on a recent episode of one of my favorite podcasts, Blast Points. It's a Star Wars podcast. He was over there with Jason and Gabe talking. And amazing guy. You know, he's worked at Lucasfilm. He's worked at LucasArts. He was involved way back in the day with a lot of the video games pre-Disney sale, and he's still involved in Star Wars. He's hosted a lot of the red carpet events for Star Wars. I mean, he's an amazing guy, really really talented individual, and just go find him on social media and go listen to his podcast and the interview that he did over at Blast Points, because it was amazing. Hopefully I can have him here one day. Let's see. But the Galaxy of Sounds, that was amazing. It's really, really cool. So check it out. Each episode focused on a different type of, almost like a different language of sound from Star Wars. You know, one was kind of the sounds of the light side of the Force. The other one was, another episode was basically the sounds of the dark side of the Sith. And it's basically moments from the films with no music and no dialogue, just the sounds. And it is amazing. I actually used it to test out a surround sound system that I set up in our sunroom, where, you know, we entertain, and we also sometimes, you know, do a little movie night there. And when the weather's not too hot or too cold, we'll go into the sunroom, and we have a TV there, and I put up this like Bose kind of speakers, and I wanted to test that out. And oh my gosh, that is such a great way to test out your surround sound, is just pump it through Galaxy of Sounds. Just put that on any episode. You know, one is on like ships and stuff, the other one is on like environments, and such great, amazingly produced little mini series over there that they put out. And of course, Star Wars Visions, which I haven't seen all of it. But that's as far as like, you know, the TV shows and films and stuff. I know we are definitely going to be getting the Bad Batch season 2, you know, so that's exciting that we're gonna get to see that. You know, the Book of Boba Fett, we're gonna get a trailer soon at some point. You know, it's coming. I think in the next couple of weeks we're gonna get Boba Fett trailer, and then also it's exciting to think that we are also going to be getting the Book of Boba Fett releasing like before the end of the year. So that's gonna be a nice little Christmas gift for all of us. The Mandalorian is coming back, you know, next year. We're going to get Boba Fett next year. We're going to get the Cassian Andor series next year. A lot of amazing things are coming. It's exciting to be a Star Wars fan, to say the least. It's also pretty exciting and frustrating to be a Star Wars toy fan. And that's another story that has been out there. Is just Hasbro has been dropping a bunch of stuff. They recently had their Hasbro Con, and they announced a bunch of upcoming figures, Black Series, vintage collection, and a new HasLab product, Kickstarter, or whatever you want to call it, and it's a Rancor. It's a Rancor, and it looks like that. I'm not really that excited about that. It's just way too expensive for such a giant Rancor. I mean, they could have done. There's so many things they could have done, but. Anyway, it is what it is, guys. But I'm going to be talking about the toys in an upcoming episode, probably a video episode as well on that. But I just wanted to touch base on what's happening in Star Wars. So this is a shorter episode today, but I hope you are enjoying this time that we are living in with Star Wars and Disney Plus and even Marvel, which is kind of interesting, all the Marvel stuff that we're getting if you're a fan of superhero stuff. Even like DC, like there's a bunch of DC stuff that's coming out on the horizon, and the upcoming Flash movie looks really exciting. So a lot of really cool and exciting things. You know, my boys and I recently watched the What If series, and we were just blown away by it. I thought it was really fascinating and really cool. But you know, I feel like we're always going to have something to be able to enjoy. You know, when it's not Star Wars. And that's what's really cool, to be a fan, a geek, enjoying all of these little genres of a geekdom, if you will. But guys, thank you so much for listening and watching. What do you think about the Ahsoka series, about this news of Hayden Christensen coming back? What do you think is going to happen in the Obi Wan series? What do you think is going to happen in the Ahsoka series? It's going to be really cool. We haven't even touched on the fact that we're going to see Thrawn, we're going to see a live action Ezra, maybe even a live action Sabine. All this stuff sounds amazing. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Hit me up on Instagram and let me know as well. And until next time, guys, remember,
The Force will be with you, always.